Hello everyone, this is Andrew Kimmons with Kimmons Tool Works, and today is Friday as far as I know. Sometimes it's hard to keep track, especially when you work 7 days a week. But that is a great thing. Means very little when you work 7 days a week, but it still kind of has that Friday vibe because I guess it's fun for other people. So anyway, today I have one of my favorite sets here. And let me just talk about this a little bit, and I'll show it for everybody. Now, every time I make one of these, at least somebody, at least one other person sees this exact combination and wants it. So this has been a perpetual thing that's been going for quite some time. This right here is a 7-piece set. Normally it's a 6-piece though, but he wanted to add 1.25 inches onto it. But this is a 7-piece beveled edge chisel set in socket tang with caps and in Cocobolo, all in Cocobolo, and a 3-piece mortise chisel set. And the mortise chisels all come with the caps. And really, this is one of those things where if it's in your budget, this is such a great and diverse place to start. Where it's like, it's not quite a full set of anything. You've got one of the bigger sizes that's not overkill. And then you have pretty much a normal 6-piece set that includes quarter, 3/8, half, 5/8, 3/4, and 1 inch. I include the 5/8 in that because oddly, that is one of my favorite sizes. It's just such a good general use size. For me, everybody has their own preference. I know that there's a lot of experienced woodworkers out there that love a 1 inch the same way that I feel about a 5/8, and it's all kind of subjective. I mean, there's a time when you need a particular size tool for a job, and there's a time where it's just based on your own preference and feel. And, you know, that's just the way that goes. And the 3-piece mortise chisel set over here is quarter, 5/16, and 3/8. And, excuse me, I'll get some of these a little bit closer up to the camera here in a minute, but Cocobolo tends to be a great handle material. One of my favorites, and it's fun to watch it sort of evolve, because when you turn it, you get a lot of bright purple, bright yellow, and bright white colors. And as it oxidizes and almost develops that patina, it kind of fades to an orangish brown. The purple kind of turns black. You get to watch it evolve right in front of your eyes. And actually I have a few videos that I'm backed up on and I haven't posted, but I intend to do that. They'll kind of get in a messed up order, but this has been sitting and developing its patina for about a week, and it tends to get darker and darker and darker pretty rapidly, and then it kind of plateaus and slows down. But it's fun to watch that sort of evolution. And some of the grain in Cocobolo is just, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. Like, for example, check out some of these. I mean, we're talking, if you're looking for just a beautiful set of woodworking chisels that function and feel even better than they look, I mean, this is it. And that's why a lot of people tend to like Cocobolo, is it's beautiful and it's durable and it's just a lot of fun. Look how much character that has. That's just beautiful. And cameras never quite captivate what it's got going on, but you can tell the finish quality. It has to be that way. It has to be as close to a perfect finish quality as I can achieve, or else I'm not happy with it. And that's not easy, and it takes time. This right here, this particular set, minus the caps, this pretty much took me a week. This is a full 7 days of work right here. And you know what? That's just what it takes. I know that there's a lot of brands that crank out, you know, hundreds or thousands of chisels a week, and that's cool, and that's not what I'm doing. That's not really my endeavor here. You can see the finish on some of these mortise chisels here. And these have, I know I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but there's like a leather shock ring in there. And they all come with the end caps. That's just included in the price. And these things are so robust and durable. I mean, they're built like a tank. And they're built ergonomically. And you can tell when you pick one of these up, when you feel these, and the same way with the beveled edge chisels. I mean, ergonomics is important. It's an extremely important part, where your hand just hits everything just right, and the balance. And that's why I really like the end caps, is it contributes to the balance. It puts the weight more so toward the back. It puts the weight of it in your hand and not just out front. I don't like that front heavy feel to it. And Cocobolo is a pretty dense wood to begin with. But other than that, I have a couple scrapers down here. This Cocobolo scraper actually goes with all of this. This is all shipping today. And I was able to find, and not much of this survives, but I was able to find a piece of like figured Cocobolo for this handle on this thing. And like, it's just got this streak down through. It's just awesome. Just wild. And then this blue one down here. In the previous video, I had a number of blue ones that I'll share, but this is one of the blue ones right here, and this is actually my scraper. I changed the handle out and I put the bolts in it, because mine, this was the prototype one, and it had different handles on it, and I didn't have these bolts at the time, so just to see how it would look, I pretty much just used epoxy resin to hold it, which I wouldn't do that in the long term, because things like that, yeah, I mean, I like redundancy. And see, there's still epoxy resined on there, but they're resined on there and held with these bolts too. That way, you know, the chance of a handle failure with that is about nil. I know a lot of knife makers, they do ones without, you know, bolts or whatever in there, and they have good luck with it. And I use, you know, similar resins to what a lot of knife makers use actually, but yeah, just the resin alone I wouldn't trust for these. So yeah, if you are looking for anything of this sort, my email is andrew@kimmonshandtools.com. That is andrew@kimmonshandtools.com, and it's the only place to get it. I don't work through any vendors. I don't, you know, have any stock. It's all custom, you know. They're all made in-house. Nobody makes or stocks any of this anywhere else in the world. And yeah, makes it a very limited sort of thing that's kind of hard to get, and it is what it is. They're not cheap, and the wait times can get long sometimes, but that's just what it takes to get, you know, that kind of quality these days that you just don't get anywhere else. And that's why I started doing it, was for quality, because I wanted this kind of quality, and that's just pretty much not an option these days. So yeah, I noticed that I have a number of comments on my YouTube actually that I need to get to. I don't get notifications or anything for that, so if you've sent me comments or anything like that, I'm not ignoring you, just haven't seen it. Being that I'm really not a content creator on YouTube, you know, I do these kind of as a side thing when I have an extra 20 minutes or so, maybe before I ship some orders or stuff like that. My ability to interact on social media is extremely nil, because I'm always working. You know, the videos themselves and the content is much less my work than this is, and it makes it to where I have a lot of limited time. So I like to try and channel everybody to my email, which is andrew@kimmonshandtools.com, and if you have any questions or want to place an order, you can place custom orders pretty much anytime. We can talk about what you want. There's a lot of different handle combinations, almost 200 different blade styles, mortise chisels, bench chisels from 16th up to 2-inch, big long paring chisels. I make some medium ones that are between paring chisel and bench chisel, skews. I don't know if I mentioned dovetail chisels, big framing chisels, all that stuff. I even have some bigger mortise chisel sizes coming out because the size cutoff was 1/2 inch for me, but I have a couple on my bench right now that I've kind of scaled up a little bit to 3/4 inch. So we'll see how those come together. They should be great. I mean, they're big blades. They're definitely big blades. That's why I had the cutoff at 1/2 inch. But hey, if people need them, I'll make them. Just because I may not have a particular use for a 3/4 doesn't mean it's crazy whatsoever. If you have a use for a 3/4, I get it. You know, like I don't have any use for framing chisels in general, but a lot of people do. And that doesn't mean I don't want them. They're awesome. Believe me, I want them. That's something I can't wait to make my own actual forever permanent set of woodworking tools. And it's been something that I've been obsessing about for years, and it's just I don't really have the time to do it, and I really don't know what way I'd want to go with a lot of it either anyway, as far as handles go. If I would want to do, I'm leaning toward just a mix and match of stuff, so we'll kind of see where the future goes. But I intend to someday make a full set, which means literally every blade that I make, and have an entire tool board that's everything. But I mean, realistically, that would take me years to accomplish them, just a couple at a time here and there. That'll be the most likely scenario for me to actually pull that off. But anyway, I like to make these videos to show some really cool stuff, and I really enjoy these. I do. And this is 1 1/4 inch right there. And you can see that the little side flats on these, they're not like the cheapies that you get where they have the big wide side flats on there. These are extremely precise and narrow, like they should be, because that big wide little side flat on a lot of those chisels is extremely irritating to me. And that was another big thing where I noticed when I pretty much bought just about every chisel on the market, and I noticed that all of them kind of did a thing or some things well, but nothing really hit on everything. Like, was far off from hitting on everything. And that's really what inspired me to start doing this, and I just kind of went from there. And you know, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of practice, and frankly, a huge amount of money to get anywhere doing this kind of stuff. And it's not something that's super easy to just pick up and start going with. I think my first year in operation, I spent 90% of what I made back on the business. Like, and then the second year was a little better, but it's been a very expensive endeavor. So it's been a lot of fun though, and it's been right up there with kind of my future plan, my future trajectory. It's like I knew I wanted to make cutting tools, just didn't know how, and it's like, but I just started doing it. And what do you know? When you just start and you go, things work out. It's funny how that works. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm happy that this is in blue now and has these rivets on it, because I love these things. These little scrapers are the handiest little tools ever. And I use this for all kinds of crap. Honestly, I knew I would use it quite a bit, but I didn't really know how much I would use it until I got it. Now I'm cutting bubble wrap with it. I'm doing packing. It's just always thrown on my bench. Like, it just has so many uses. and I sharpened it this morning too. But yeah, if you're in the market for some really high-end, over-the-top woodworking chisels, the only place to get them, as far as I know, Andrew at kimmonshandtools.com. You can email me, can talk about what you want, discuss some of the options. I mean, in the interest of full disclosure here, these aren't cheap tools, but they can't be. Like I said, this set took me over a week to build this, so that's an entire week's labor plus materials, you know, plus the end caps doesn't even factor into that week, plus, you know, see here, $200 worth of Cocobolo, you know, because not all of it survives. So a lot goes into them. I definitely, you know, I have a favorite steel manufacturer, one of my favorites in the US here. And I contacted them. And this is kind of a cool story that I never shared. I contacted them, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I said, hey, I would love to be able to get, you know, bulk discounts, better prices, things like that. You know, I don't always need materials in a certain format. Like, can I get these from you bulk for a better price? Because if I can get blade steels for a better price, I can pass that on to people and not have to charge as much as I do for the blade steel. And what they told me was, oh yeah, I'm familiar with you. They knew me. They actually knew me from social media. They said, oh yeah, we follow your work. I was like, well, that's awesome. I was kind of blown away. Like, one of the biggest manufacturers of quality steel in the US. I was like, well, that's really cool. The guy, well, at least the guy that I talked to, the sales dude, knew who I was. And so I figured, you know, this is an in. I'll be able to get some bulk pricing. But what he told me was that if I can't order 3,000 pounds at a time, they can't do it, which that's understandable because they're dealing with huge volumes. So I thought that was kind of funny. It's like, yeah, 3,000 pounds at a time. Sorry, man. Can't do that. It would take me years and years, and like it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that. And it's like, and where would I put 3,000 pounds of steel? So yeah, no. Anyway, I thought that was kind of a funny story, but anyway, I hope everyone has a great week. It is Friday, right? Yes, it is Friday. So I hope everyone out there has a great weekend. And once again, if you're looking for some custom tools, Andrew at kimmonshandtools.com. I have a website that's, you know, it's a functional website, but I just use it for people to place custom orders via debit and credit. Like, there's not really a whole lot of pre-selected stuff you can jump on there and get. And I have the scrapers listed up there, but still you can tell that there's a wait time on those, and it says that in the description. But I do leave these up if somebody wants to go on there and order one. It'll put you in my queue for the next batch of these. And yeah, so hopefully I can just keep those up rolling like that. But as far as the chisels and stuff like that go, the only way to get them is to get a hold of me via email, and we can discuss what you want, discuss the pricing, which options you want, which way you want to go. And mind you, you can get anything from a single, like that's okay if you want to just get a single to try or whatever. Or if you want to get, you know, I've had people order a 12-piece beveled edge bench chisel set, 7-piece mortise chisel set. If you just want to go full sets and go all out and be done with it, I can accommodate that as well. So yeah, and from that point, you know, all I need to do is get into my website, and I'll make a custom listing for your order and send it to you in email. You click on it, it takes you right there. You place the order, you go into my work queue for it. The way I have to manage my work into things to make everything efficient. So I'm kind of a nutty, efficiency-minded person. So I have to do things categorized in groups that way, because equipment setup takes time. So I like to, at any given time, get as many things in that will suit the equipment setup that I've got going on. So it's just logical. But Anyway, I hope everyone has a great day out there, and happy Friday, and I will see you next time.